Well, that was a little weak, wasn't it? We'll try that again. That sounded better. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We call this meeting of the City of Hayward, Iowa City Council to order on Wednesday, December the 16th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Just a one-meeting month as it's a holiday coming up. And all present tonight except for Councilman Travis. He had some unexpected work issues that he can't be with us. So not a lot of agenda items tonight, so we'll get through those rather quickly for Mr. Pickner's wishes. Thank you, Jim. Just kidding. We'll start out, please, with 1A, approval of the November 18th, 2020 City Council meeting minutes.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Rob. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jen. Questions or clarifications? All in favor, then, of the approval of the November 18th, 2020 City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. We move on to 1B, which is approval of the claims for payment. We'll start to my left with Rob for questions.
No question.
Okay, Jen, any questions?
No questions.
John?
None, thanks.
Okay, Tim, any questions?
So moved.
There's been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor, then, of the claims for payment for today, December 16th, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes again 4-0. Next, open business from the community. No community out there, so that's okay. We'll move next to the mayor's report. John, our condolences to you with the passing of your father. Mr. Bill was quite a person in this community.
Really?
Always seemed to be very pleasant and loved the city of Hawarden. And I was happy to hear that maybe that he passed the coleslaw recipe on for all those activities at St. Mary's.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah. Isn't that what Father said? Next time we eat, we'll see if you got the recipe or not. So our sympathies to you from all of us sitting here. We do have two openings on a couple of the city appointed boards, the Board of Adjustment and the Zoning Board. So if there's any interest in a community member, please get a hold of Mike or myself. Those are our mayoral appointments. And also from the council representative on the chamber board. So if there's a member of the city council that wishes to be a part of the chamber board, that's another appointment that we make. It's been quite a year. We've had a lot going on with COVID and politics and everything. So our sincere thanks to all the city staff for everything that they've done, all the adjustments that they have done. It's been a trying year, but we've made it through. Pam Wakeman and Rick Bronkhorst both retired from the city staff, so we thank them again for their service. We did that when they retired, but they were great employees here at the city. So as a community, I think we need to bond together and work with your faith, work with your families, work with your friends, and continue to move forward. So we'll certainly make it. We've had, I think, some great projects here in the city of Hayward in the last year again, and we're getting some of those wrapped up and looking forward to new projects again to keep things moving here. So we'll move on then to staff reports, and we'll just start with Jim Pickner tonight. Anything, Jim?
No, Your Honor, I do not have anything.
That was longer than last month. Thank you. Larry Cope, please, Economic Development.
Okay, this evening, meetings over the past month. Our traditional meetings that we have been having, Sioux Land Habitat, Developers Group for the Sioux County, our Rural Development Empower Iowa groups, PDI Leadership, and our Northwest Iowa groups all have been meeting virtually over the past month. There have been a couple of meetings that we've had in place or in person. We will have one in-person meeting next week when we go to present the Northwest Iowa Annual Report and Budget to the Sioux County Commissioners on December the 22nd. We continue to work with our prospects and our clients. We have about 35 active clients. 35 active clients that are working on projects that should come together in the next year or so, and about 15 more long-term clients that we're working with. We've continued to do our business outreach, again, primarily by email and phone. And we have also now got to the stage of where we've produced our second banner for the downtown polls. And as my last thing, I'll show you what both banners look like right now. The banner committee will meet one more time to choose the third set, and then these will be the banners that will rotate in downtown every year. In addition to that, we started the launch of a yearly Hawarden community guide. This will be a guide that will provide information about the community, about the city, and also give an opportunity for some of our local businesses to advertise in it. So you'll be hearing more about this over the next couple of months. I'm also working with the library director on a STEM partnership grant to do some STEM activities in the library. And so that is what I will close with. The first banner I will show you here will be our fall banner that will be going up next fall. And so these are two-sided banners with pretty heavy vinyl. They also have the tie-backs to the poles in case for wind resistance, stuff like that. So they should give us many years of service. They're expecting them to be about a 5-year banner. Like, we'll see how well they do hold up to the winter weather. This is our most recent one. These will be the banners that go up as soon as the Christmas wreaths go down. This is our winter banner. And we were able to actually acquire this photo from a gentleman who takes photographs of our local trestles out the Midwest. And so he donated the photograph to us for the purpose of putting them on this banner. And so as we get these banners put up in downtown, they will be on both the left and the right side, or the east and the west side of the light poles as we go and install these right after the first of the year sometime. So. Any questions?
Questions of Larry?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, the banners look great. Thanks to your banner committee. That's they've been meeting. Takes a lot of energy. Travis, please.
Update on some of our projects we have going on. The wastewater treatment plant has been completed. They were able to seed and everything, but we'll see how it comes up in the spring. They may have to come back and highlight a few spots. But that project is complete. The plant is running more efficient already. Just in the last 3 months, I've noticed that over a 12-month period, we should estimate $20,000 to $25,000 savings just in electric usage. So hopefully that continues. It should. So the south feeder project is substantially been completed. Seeding and lawn care repair will be taken up in the spring, but everything else has been completed. Electric crew has been switching the customers over from the overhead to the underground. And we hope to have the overhead de-energized by January. So then they can get the poles and the wire down. Work at the pool was completed. ACO will be back in the spring during startup to ensure the filters are operating properly during the first startup. And we'll need to pour some new concrete around the waiting pool where we did find the leaks and get them fixed. There were 3 of them. So. We've also continued work on the enclosed shelter by the Veterans Memorial Park. If you've been by there, you've seen the new siding. And on the inside, we've put new kitchen cabinets and countertops. We actually extended the counter to come out into the middle like a serving area.
Nice.
Used to use an old picnic table, and it just wasn't very handy. So this should be a very nice addition to that as well. This winter, the floor will get a new coat of paint. And next year, we hope to bury the water line deeper and possibly add some heat so we can rent it year-round. I just believe that it's a great addition, and it's rented a lot during the summer. I think that'll continue through the winter months as well if we had the opportunity to do it. So.
Good. It's great to get that south feeder project completed and wastewater.
Yeah, it was great to get things wrapped up before, winter hits, so.
Thank you very much. Corey, please.
Just got a couple things here. We're wrapping up our year-end statistics, trying to compile everything for our report come January. And in doing so, we've noticed that we've seen a rather large uptick in fingerprints that we've been doing for people. This is a free service that we provide to the citizens in Hayward and Ireton and pretty much the West Sioux School District. Unfortunately, we're the only department in the area that's doing them. So we've had people from Sioux City, Fort Dodge, Minnesota. Anybody who's applying for certain jobs, they still have to have this FBI background check. So we're having all these people come in from various places just to get their fingerprints done. And we don't have a fee schedule set up for that. So when Mike goes to renew the fee schedule here in January or so, we're going to add on there a $10 fee for anybody outside of our district. That way we still provide the free service to the people within the community. But if anybody else needs it, then it's just $10. I've thrown it past a couple people and they'd be more than happy to pay the $10. They just don't pay anything because we don't charge anything. So that's one thing we've really been looking into. The other thing is vehicle lockouts. This is kind of it's a novelty in this area. Where I came from, we refuse to do them because we've had people wanting us to pay for any damages that occur from it. Sometimes, you may chip some paint or, break a weather stripping, something like that. They get all upset and, this is a free service that usually costs them $100 and some if a locksmith or a tow truck company would do it. I don't want to lose that because I have seen benefits for certain people, but I've also seen people abuse it. We had one individual in town that we've unlocked their car 5 times this year, and it just becomes redundant. So along with that same fee schedule, I'd still like to do it at no cost for the residents within our community, once again, for a first time within a 12-month period. If it happens a second time, then I think a $20 fee is more than fair. And if they're not from the area, I think that we should charge them the same $20, which I, once again, don't know anybody who wouldn't pay the $20 that needs it. Obviously, if there's an emergency situation, that's a whole other story. But I think these are things that they're services that we're providing to people that don't pay taxes and stuff like that. It's kind of their contribution for the service that we provide because they're not services that are provided everywhere. Like I said, it's kind of a novelty here. So that'll be my proposal when Mike seeks approval from you guys here in January. And lastly, I wanted to talk real quick about our STEP project that we did. Our STEP project, STEP means Special Traffic Enforcement Project. The Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau puts this on annually. And basically what they do is they give us funding for different tools or items that we can use for traffic enforcement. And they also don't want to burden on the cities or the counties that are doing this, so they also pay for any overtime that's accrued during those projects. So this year we were given $2,450. $2,000 of it was for overtime. $450 is for a PBT machine that we use for OWI investigations. So we have a brand new PBT machine that was at no cost to the city, which is nice. The other nice thing about it is that the way they have the waves staggered, there's 7 different waves, and each wave is done during the holiday periods when the governor sees heightened traffic numbers out on the highway. So it's usually for about a week to up to 15 days. The first one we did was from November 16th through November 29th, and out of all the officers that worked during that period, we had 116 different contacts. And out of those contacts, we had various warnings, citations, arrests, pretty much anything that you can think of during that. I was happy to see that we had some alcohol-related OWIs, drug-related OWIs, about 31 speeding contacts, no driver's license, various other things, 1 drug arrest. These are things that are all found during these traffic stops or initiated through traffic. And to me, it's important because any of the other crimes that go on. Most people either drive or, they get from point A to point B one way or another. And it gives us an opportunity to look a little bit further into it as opposed to just, writing a ticket or giving a warning. We educate a lot of people about things that they didn't know, and so that's kind of fun to do too. So other than that, the next wave that we have will be actually December 18th, and it's the longest one. It's 15 days. It goes to the 1st of January. So
The person that locked themselves out, should I get them one of those little magnet things and they can keep the key?
I don't think it'd help.
Just thinking Christmas time.
I know it.
Open them out and you also. Hey, thanks to you and your officers.
Thank you.
Jacob, anything from finance? Thanks for being back again.
So, got everything done that needed to be done before the end of the year, and now we are working on item 7, the budget. We'll go over the schedule that we have for that later on.
That's always a fun time. I think you do. It's finance. Mike DeBryan, please.
We put a memo out in November that Rides suspended their service to Hayward. Just got an email from them, they haven't offered service since November 8th. The driver they had for Hayward became ill and had to resign, and just not a lot of people out there. They've been looking for a driver but can't find one. Our ridership over the last year is about an average of 2 riders a day. So, I mean, it's not, we've talked about that before, how to get that ridership up, but it's just not tremendously used. They're going to try and decide if they can get somebody over here or if they would suspend the service completely for our area. Overall, their whole ridership is gone in Northwest Iowa, or is way low in Northwest Iowa. A lot of that's because of COVID. So, in your packet, you see the letter of asking from Mid-Sioux, where we normally contribute $1,000 to them. And on the second letter, you'll see the amount of value that brings back to our community. So for that $1,000 we spend, it brings a value back to our community of $564,000 to help our residents with heating assistance, with rental assistance, with insulating their homes and things like that. So it's money well spent.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Council, any questions of staff or any comments from you folks? We'll move on then to agenda item number 3, hospital update by Jason Pullman, please.
Well, thanks for having me. Obviously, as Mayor said, COVID-19 has been a situation that's been really affecting healthcare in over the whole nation, and it's really affecting here in Hayward too. Really expanding our capacity. We really only had 1 negative pressure room in our whole organization, and due to the necessity of unable to get people out, or people weren't, they were sick with COVID, but they weren't needing a ventilator. We had to convert 4 more rooms into negative pressure temporarily, which were just makeshift fans that blew air from the inside out and created a negative pressure in the room. Most of, during our peak time, we had, 4 to 5 COVID patients in the hospital. The overall volume has been higher than normal by 3 times the patient days. So it's really been tough on overall resources. I got to commend my staff. They've just been troopers and digging in and just day-to-day grind, and they're tired. I think that's all healthcare professionals in the nation that are tired. So, but they have been doing a great job and trying to keep people here. We've acquired some new devices to help people with that are COVID-19. We call them the Airbo 2s. They provide high humidified O2. We were running through tanks and tanks of oxygen on a daily basis just because we had people with 15 plus liters of oxygen just trying to maintain and trying to keep them off the ventilator. And then if they worsened, then we were a helicopter away and we were getting them to an ICU where we could get them into. So it's been a challenge. But hopefully the end is in sight with the vaccine coming present. So the Pfizer vaccine is already out. You'll see like Sanford and Des Moines, they're already starting to administer the vaccine. That is an ultra cold storage, so that's like 80 below. We don't have that capability. The Moderna vaccine is going to the FDA basically on the 17th and for approval, and once we get that approval, which we think we will, then we anticipate shipment that next week. We are already starting to plan for vaccination for essential services the week of Christmas. So we actually are sending letters out to EMS and chiropractors, dentists, eye doctors, and people that have direct patient contact to get the vaccine. And so we've sent out emails to the Hawarden ambulance and also the Hayward EMS to sign up for a time to get a vaccine. So that's kind of exciting news. I've heard my providers joyful for even that they're going to get the vaccine. So it's really we've been waiting for it, and now it's almost here, and everybody's getting pretty excited about that. Anyway, then we're working on the enclosure of the ambulance overhang, and that project is going quite well. They're in the process of actually reconstructing it now. Hopefully that'll be done by the end of January. Ultimately, we were faced with challenges of how do you test people during winter. Obviously, we've been blessed this year that we've not had a lot of snow, not had a lot of coldness, but I'm afraid we're going to get that eventually here. So that gives us an opportunity for people to drive in. It'll be heated. We can test them in the ambulance overhang and be able to, so people don't have to get out of their cars. We also did do some makeshift testing center in the breezeway in between the clinic and the hospital. Tried to create a separation between staff passing through and ability for people to come in and be tested for COVID. The good thing is that the numbers of COVID or positive cases are declining in the state, are declining in Sioux County and Plymouth County. So I watch that daily, and I've seen those numbers tick down quite rapidly. So that's really good. So it's been an interesting year. We're in preliminary discussions. Like I said, we have the West Wing when we remodeled the facility and built on the new part. The whole West Wing was not touched, so there's 6 patient rooms there that basically we put new doors on, and we really never touched those. So those rooms only have a toilet, and unfortunately they have to, when they shower, they have to go out in the hallway, and they have to take a shower in the hallway. But with COVID-19, those were the only rooms we could reverse isolate with those machines. So we were left with either towel baths or, very minimal bathing facilities for those individuals. So we're in the preliminary discussion, trying to look at, what we can do with those rooms to make them negative pressure all the time. So if we run into the next pandemic, we have the capability of having nice facilities for people, because we've filled up the new wing, and we were using 4 of the 6 rooms of the West Wing. So that's how busy we've been. It's just been a lot of patients, a lot of volume. So we're still in the throes of trying to figure out from the federal government, do we, the CARES Act dollars, are we going to be able to keep it? Are we not going to be able to keep it? Are we going to, be able to use it for some of these projects that we can, enhance our facilities? So initially it was yes, then no, now maybe, and so we're continuing to watch the political scene and trying to figure out where the best strategy is for that. So those are some of the challenges. We did put up new wayward signs on Avenue L, illuminated, one by the clinic and one by the other side of the hospital. So those are nice additions to the facility also. We will be going through some provider changes in the clinic. At the end of January, we have a replacement hired, and we continue to struggle with trying to recruit top talent to our organization, but we continue to find people that fill voids. I would have to say the nursing profession is probably one of the toughest right now to recruit, just because they're getting drawn into the bigger cities that are paying unbelievable amount of money to get those staff there. So it's difficult. It's very difficult. It's probably one of the most challenging times for recruitment in my lifetime. So any questions?
We have lost on our agenda. Has the board addressed that? I tried to find the minutes on the website, could not find the board minutes on the website.
Yeah, I'll give you an update on that. The board did meet on the loss, and obviously they're going back and forth. They've obviously watched the city council meetings, and they're still deliberating on what is the best strategy. Obviously, I believe in their heart they want to come up with a compromise. I really do. I believe that's the overall goal. Now, what is that? I don't know. And so that's for them to make a deliberation and then communicate that. And so we meet in January again, and obviously I know that's going to be on the agenda again, and we'll continue to work through that. So
Is that the first part of January?
it's the third Thursday, I believe, in January. Yeah.
And you mentioned staffing. Does that include Dr. Waddell?
Yeah, Dr. Waddell will be leaving the end of January. And then we've hired Amy Waterman to replace him, and she'll be starting December 28th. And they will have a month together for transition. And then ultimately, we're recruiting for another physician, obviously, but it's hard to find physicians. What we are seeing, though, nationwide is physicians that are in the metropolitan area are going, this is crazy, with all the COVID stuff going on, and so they're going. So we are seeing a trend of metropolitan physicians moving into rural, and so we're going to be discussing in January, trying to develop a recruitment strategy and maybe bring in somebody on board to help us with that. And really, we need to recruit long-term 2 physicians into our practice. And so that's going to be a chronic battle that all rural healthcare faces in the United States, unfortunately. So,
Well, our council and staff's thanks to Dr. Waddell for all of his service in our community. I know he's taken on being the medical director for our ambulance and EMTs and here in Ironton and everywhere. So we wish him and his family are the best in Wisconsin.
thank you. I know that we're working with Jeff and Mike on trying to find a strategy on coverage for the EMSs in the area, because they have to be supervised by an MD or a DO. We do have Dr. Pomeranke down in the Akron community. There's been discussion with him about could he take on some of that responsibility of like the Akron and Ironton, and then Dr. Nystrom, Hayward, and Alcester. And so we're having active discussions with him about that too. So,
Council, questions for Jason while he's here?
Are your beds still full from COVID, or have they cleared out a little bit, or you got space in room?
well, I mean, we say we always have room. The question is, do we have the staff to take care of it? And so, right now, I believe census today, it was, 6-ish. With, we do have COVID patients in the hospital right now. And, that fluctuates dramatically depending on what's going on. ER's been extremely busy with a variety of situations. So But I don't, I really don't see, even besides COVID, our volume has continually uptick in the last 365 days. So, which is really good for our community, but it also, it's pushing the level of resources for the organization, and I call it growing pains, but we're growing in an accelerated fashion, which is hard on finding staff to cover the needs that we need, so, yeah.
Anything else? Thank you for the update. We
You
appreciate
bet.
it very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jason.
Move to agenda item number 4. This is a third reading of ordinance 738. This is amending the water rates. As we have mentioned at the last 2 readings, we were in a positive a number of years ago, and now a negative in 2020. We've just not kept up the rate increases. So this would be the third and final reading of the ordinance 728 to increase the water rates, as Mike had put into our agenda items at about $5 per month per customer. Okay. Is there a motion for the third reading of ordinance 728?
So moved.
Moved by Tim,
Second.
seconded by Jen. Jacob, I'd call for a roll call vote, please, for the third reading of ordinance 728.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Bucky,
Aye.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, third reading of ordinance number 728 passes. Agenda item number 5, this is the pay request number 13 for Hogan Construction for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. As Travis had mentioned, it's completed. This would be in the amount of $11,219.50, and then we will have one more to finish it up. Okay, and we are, at this point, as you see it, pretty well within budget with that project.
Very little on the overruns or the change orders, a lot better than most projects at this time.
Okay, so things came in as we started and kind of how we're ending. Okay, is there a motion for the pay request 13 to Hogan Construction?
So moved.
Moved by Rob, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor, please, of the pay request number 13, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you. We'll send Hogan a check. Agenda item number 6, this will be, 6A will be a public hearing for the final disposition of real estate property. I'll just have Mike, before we open the hearing, just give us an overview of this, please.
We have a large lot in Frog Pond area of town, 906 Avenue B. This house was acquired by the city. It was dilapidated, run down, and abandoned. We acquired it from the owner at that time who had left town, tore down the house, and have owned it since. We were approached by Mike Vanderwin of Vanderwin & Sons that he has an employee that lives in Hawarden, and they have a home that is out in the country right now. It's a modular ranch-style home that he would like to purchase this lot, put it on a slab, no basement, which fits in well for that area because in 2022 it will be in a flood zone. And then add a 3-stall garage. They expect an investment of $100,000 to $115,000. So we're of course always happy to get homes built or moved into town, and in this area, we don't own a lot. It'd be great.
Okay, thank you for that overview. At this time, I will open the public hearing for the final disposition of real estate property. Have we had any comments directed to the city through mail or voice?
None.
Okay, does any council member or anyone else wish to comment on the proposal for the disposition of this real estate property? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, which then moves us to Resolution 2020-39, authorizing the final disposition of real estate at 906 Avenue B to Mr. Mike Vander Wint. Is there a motion for that resolution?
So moved.
Moved by Tim,
Second.
seconded by John. Roll call, please, for Resolution 2020-39.
Aye.
Bert,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2020-39 passes. Our thanks to him for making improvements in our community. It's nice that our city, a number of years ago, took the initiative to get that cleaned up and prepared for somebody to take it over. Next, we'll move into budget times schedule, please. I'll pass it to Mike.
So put a budget schedule in your packets. We're looking at the January 13th meeting. We hope to have the whole initial packet to you guys, but we'll at least have the utility budget for a preliminary review. I'll give you the copies again this year in case you want to write on them and mark them up. It's easier than the digital copy. And then the second meeting in January, we'll discuss at least the utilities portion. And if you don't have the general fund portion by then, we will distribute that as well. The first meeting in February, we can continue to go through and make revisions with council as you guys see fit. And by the last meeting in February, we hope to be at a final phase in that budget so that we can set a public hearing for the 13th of March. It has to be in by the end of March. So that gives us one meeting time frame in case we need to move something around.
These are all on our regular scheduled meeting nights.
All on regular scheduled meeting nights.
Okay. Pizza and beer will be provided for later.
If we get a late one, just let me know if we're going to be late.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm always pleased how much communication we get in this process from our city employees and staff. Also appreciative of all the work that city council members do to look at the numbers and make sure things are correct. Also an opportunity, as we know, for the community to tell us, what areas of the community they wish to, now's the time to start thinking of enhancements or something, or de-enhancements of something. So I'm hoping that the community will give us some ideas in that regard too. So thanks again for the city staff and council for all your work in the budget processes. It's always interesting how much work it takes, but we always come through and it works nice. And at the end, it always seems like we're right in there with the numbers at the end of the fiscal year. So, any other questions about budget schedule? Okay, get your sleep in before we get here. As Jason had said in his report, the hospital board, Regional Healthcare, is still talking about local option sales tax. Any discussion from us tonight until we hear back from their proposal?
I'm fine to wait.
Wait until.
Okay. We will wait for that. We have no consent agendas. Nobody's having any parties or anything apparently at the.
We will have one next month for review.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for the good of the council? Jim, how are we doing? You're going to get you home in time?
Well, I haven't been, I'm not a clock watcher. I think could have probably cut a little shorter, but
Sorry, we did the best we could. Our next regular meeting will be next year, January 13th, 2021. Blessings to everyone in the holiday season. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Moved by John. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jen. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, let's go home. Thanks for your time.